Hello, everyone. Welcome to No Spin Live on the Plastic Surgery Channel. I'm Anu Bajaj, and today I have Dr. Christy Hustick and Dr. Stephanie Poris on our show today, and we're going to chit chat for a little bit. But first, it sounds like all of us had great days or weird days today. So we're going to talk about a little bit the day in the life of a plastic surgeon.
Well, we heard a little bit about Stephanie's day, so I think she needs to start for sure. Yeah.
I know. Her day sounded like it was the most eventful.
So it all started like a normal Monday. I saw patients at about 2:45. The Orange County Sheriff's Department entered into my office, which is always a little bit scary. They've been in here before, but for only good things. And apparently there was like a robbery a block away. And so they were setting a perimeter. They wanted us to just, stay inside, and then they used my bathroom. Absolutely have whatever you want. And then about 2 hours later, a car exploded across the street, which is the most atypical thing for this neighborhood, all of it. So I think it must be a full moon or something, because this is literally what went on about an hour ago. Luckily, nobody was injured, and it was, just maybe somebody forgot to get their oil changed. But so change your oil. But
oh my gosh.
But anyways, I'm telling you, I'm ready to wrap it up. This day is just weird.
I wish I had strange stories like that, but my day was just a regular day.
Christy, how today?
Well, we did surgery today. This is weird though. One of my patients who was supposed to have surgery, I did 2 big cases, and then I had a couple of minors in the afternoon. One of my minors had COVID, and I'm like sitting here thinking, oh my God, we're still testing for COVID?
Yeah.
But apparently she was super sick all weekend and had seen her doctor. And anyway, so obviously we rescheduled her, but that was just that was the most interesting thing about the day.
It is a weird day.
Yeah.
That's weird. That's strange.
I know my day was routine, but I had a lot of nostalgia today. I saw about 4 or 5 patients that were previous patients of mine. One of them was coming back in because actually we caught breast cancer on her routine mammogram for an augmentation. And I'm super weird about mammograms. I make all of mine, get it pretty routinely. And she had one 13 months prior. That was normal. And I said, hey, it's over a year. I'd love to get one. Sure enough. So she's coming back in for some second stage stuff, some fat grafting, some touch-ups. But that was neat, hugged me and said, thank you for saving my life. And so that was super, super fun. But
that's amazing.
It's like why we do what we do sometimes and why routine is good. But
they're not just implants, you're saving lives.
I know, right? It was good. But and then I had 2 patients today that I've seen years ago that were asking about my kids, and they're like, oh, how's the baby? And I'm like, my baby's 7 tomorrow. And they're like, oh, I remember when you were pregnant. So it was kind of a nostalgia day, but certainly not as eventful as your guys is certainly. Yeah.
So one of the things we had talked about for today's topic was about this trend of reversing. So reversing BBLs, dissolving fillers, maybe going for a more natural look. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I was reading this article about the trends of 2023, right? We always get asked, what do you think the next year holds? And so I thought it was really interesting that one of the trends that's on the horizon is dissolving some of these overfilled faces and kind of getting back to the base. So that way you can build back in with fat or maybe doing some skin resection procedure. So I thought that was really interesting that people are moving away from this overfilled, overstuffed. Let's melt it all back down and see where we're at, and maybe doing, cheek lifts or things like that to reposition stuff. So I think that's really interesting. And I'm seeing a little bit of a trend in that as well. Certainly BBLs. I'm in, South Texas. And so, bigger is better. And I think we're moving away from that to some degree. I'm doing a lot of reversals. Maybe not taking everything out, but definitely reshaping, taking some down. I think 2 of my 4 cases tomorrow are BBL reversals. So
meaning lipo and stuff like that?
Yeah. So I'm lipo repositioning. Now, if they're too big, sometimes you have to do some skin resections, like the posterior portion of a lower body lift. But in these ones, their skin is still pretty good, that I'm doing a lot of liposuction and reshaping to kind of take those down. So particularly the upper part, the hippie part. So we'll see, it's interesting.
Have you seen the same thing in Florida?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that the trend I love this because this is so my aesthetic anyways, but just that natural kind of refreshing your look, to 10, 20 years before. In Florida, it's similar to Texas, right? Bigger's better. There's just everybody's on the beach, big, big, big. But that's really gone by the wayside. I will tell you, virtually nobody anymore walks through the door wanting a BBL. Maybe my weight loss patients, they ask for a little bit of fat in their rear, but otherwise, everybody really wants just some volume replacement. And people are really asking more about permanent volume replacement, especially in the face. I think people are a little scared of filler, as they should be. We've kind of overdone it, right? The pendulums went one way and now it's swinging back a little bit. And they just want to replace what they've lost, not necessarily get the excess. And I love that because when you're doing fat, it limits it to people that maybe have a little bit more experience with the knife. And so we can kind of control the outcomes a little bit better. So for me, I love the way the trend is moving.
I also think when you're doing fat, it's not as easy. And maybe it is because it's something that only people with the knife can do, but like you can't go to your regular med spa and just get fat grafting. So you're right, there is a lot more control to it. I do think that in today's world, people are wanting a little bit more of a natural look. I'm seeing so many more patients who are coming in and saying, well, I don't want to look like that. And so, or I don't want people to know that I've had stuff done. And I don't know if it's just the difference in the patient population or if it's a real trend just yet. Because I feel like in Oklahoma, we're kind of in the middle of the country. We kind of follow the coast and follow Texas and Florida or California. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think for the first time these last couple months, I have patients that maybe I'm suggesting adding in some volume, maybe with a facelift. Hey, let's add some fat grafting. Ooh, tell me about fat because I don't want those big overfilled apple cheeks and those big lips. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I think for the first time, my friend had this and she looks overdone and she looks weird. And so I think, they're like, she goes to this med spa and gets all these fillers. I think for the first time, I am having gals say, whoa, wait, step back. Tell me about what kind of volume and where you're going to put it. So that's a great point. Yeah.
Well, on that note, we'll say thank you, everybody. No more filler, do no harm.
There you go. Yeah.